whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
It's one source. It's all one. We are one. And in that place, you are magnificent. You are whole and complete and perfect just as you are. Expressing something unique, something you, something that has never been seen before. And as we're gathered here today with people of like mind to share in this joy of expressing our spiritual oneness, we open up and are willing and are aware of this allness we call God or Spirit, this life, this love, this joy. Just take a moment and in that realization just say thank you. I'm so grateful. And so it is. And now our message for today, science and spirituality.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning again. Does that sound good? Too loud? Echoey? Something? Echoey. Yeah, echoey. Hello? Hello? Is that better? No? Still a bit echoey? Okay. Well, good morning anyway. Good morning. The hills are alive. You can cut that piece off. I'm not. Okay. I'm just so excited. I'm flying a little high today. Number one, I was thinking of all the songs. I chose the playlist today, hence it all being women and that kind of touchy-feely women oneness music. So that's what happens when you ask me to do that. What else? Oh, I spent the day yesterday with my beloved Michael up in Logan with Nithya Shanti at one of his joy shops. And for those of you that haven't met Nithya, he's an amazing spiritual teacher. He walked the path of a Zen Buddhist monk in Thailand for 7 years. And so being in his field is just amazing and lovely. And he invited Michael as his guest. Michael and I as his guests yesterday. And so we met some wonderful people from Logan and Pocatello, and so it's this energy, these spiritual principles that we're learning here at the Satya Center aren't just exclusive to this community. There's communities around locally and neighboring that are in alignment with what we're teaching here. So I like to bring that up every once in a while, because sometimes it feels like we're just here doing this, and we don't know if there's anybody else in the community that feels or thinks the way we do, and there are. And the wonderful thing about our tradition here at the Satya Center, there is no dogma. So you don't see every seat filled every Sunday, because there's not that overlay of, we'll see you on Sunday, right? So hence, sometimes we have a thinner crowd like we do today. So thank you for foregoing the beautiful outdoors and joining us today for our last talk in the series for August, which is oneness. So I decided to draw upon some of the material that I've been reading recently, that I've been researching, and it's to do with new science. So the title today is Science and Spirituality. And so I've studied a couple of scientists, and been watching movies and sort of immersing myself in a little bit of quantum physics, We just watched that great movie with Stephen Hawking, the Theory of Everything, or the Theory of Nothing, or I don't know what it was. Anyway, it was a great movie. Has anyone seen that movie? It's really a great movie. Very emotional and very powerful. What an inspiration, someone with Lou Gehrig's disease to live to the age of 72 plus and to be able to follow his heart's passion, that his physical illness, when he first got diagnosed, when he was at Cambridge University in England, he was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and that made his decision to become a teacher, professor, an author, a speaker very challenging. And he was able to overcome those challenges by really staying true to his heart's desire to be a teacher, to be an author. So great inspiration. I also have been studying Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, another English person. I'm not really prejudiced, and I only listen to English authors and speakers, but it kind of seems that way, especially this month. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake is really pushing the boundaries on science, and a lot of his colleagues in typical mainstream science have kind of elbowed him out the way or closed the door to him because he is combining science and spirituality. So he was actually, and this shocked me, they banned his talk. He did a TED talk. You're all familiar with TED Talks? He did a TED Talk, so he'd actually been invited into that community to give a 15-minute talk on science and spirituality, and it was actually taken down. It was banned from being shown because he really poked fun at the mainstream science. And so I'm going to share, you're probably intrigued, like, what could you possibly have done? So I'm going to share a little bit about all that. So this talk is more of the, some of my talks are very feeling in nature. This one's more in the, to do with the left brain, to do with science. So I'm going to be referring to my notes quite a bit today. And I apologize for cutting you off, Michael, when you were about to give testimony. I am going to use that example in my talk today. So.
That's okay.
So I wanted to share 3 quotes. First from Dr. Stephen Hawking. We find ourselves in a bewildering world. We want to make sense of what we see around us and to ask, what is the nature of the universe? What is our place in it, and where did it and we come from? Why is it the way it is? Any of you have thoughts like that? Yeah. This is from Carl Sagan. The very act of understanding is a celebration of joining, merging, even if on a very modest scale, with the magnificence of the cosmos. Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. And I think that, as I think of my mentor, Dr. Ernest Holmes, he really modeled that, a merging of science with spirituality or religion. He wrote the book, The Science of Mind and Spirit, back in the 20s, the 1920s. Gosh, we can't say the 20s anymore, huh? Because we're actually almost in the 20s, and that will seem like it was written just a couple of years ago. Anyway, so anyway, Dr. Ernest Holmes is really probably why I fell in love with the teachings of the science of mind and spirit when I was in my 20s, because it really made it addressed my left brain and my right brain. It gave me an opportunity to study and learn principles, and then to put them into practice, to put them into the art of my life. Another physicist who actually Ernest Holmes studied, Max Planck, he was a physicist that actually died in 1947, wrote, "Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. And it is because, in the last analysis, we ourselves are part of nature, and therefore part of the mystery that we are trying to solve. Spiritual masters through the ages have devised methods different to those of science for investigating this great mystery by immersing themselves in it, making use of silence, stillness, and solitude, for example. The conclusion is clear. Science and spirituality belong to one another, and science alone cannot give anyone the full picture." So when I hear that we're immersing ourselves in the practice of engaging in the mystery, we're doing a scientific practice, an exploration through our conscious choice of meditation, of doing affirmative prayer, or spiritual mind treatment, as we call it in Science of Mind, that we're actually engaging, we're scientists. We're scientists of the spiritual realm. I like to think of what the Toltecs say, that we're all artists. So we're artists and scientists. We're in the practice of bringing our spiritual art alive through our prayer and meditation, through our consciousness. So old science. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, he's a biologist and an author of more than 80 scientific papers and 10 books, including The Science Delusion, Freeing the Spirit of Inquiry, says, he shares how the scientific worldview is moribund. Now I looked up that word. What's moribund? It's at the point of death. The sciences are being constricted by assumptions that have hardened into dogmas. But science itself is now transcending the materialistic philosophy and pointing towards a new sense of a living world. The cosmos is no longer like a machine that's running down. It is more like a developing organism with an inherent memory, and so is our planet, Gaia. These new paradigm shifts in the sciences shed a new light on spiritual practices like pilgrimage, ritual, prayer, and meditation. Now, what I found interesting was he's been sort of questioning traditional science. And in traditional science, there are absolute laws that don't change. And he's been protesting that. Because actually, he's found, as he's gone back in time and read some of the journals, scientific journals, that there used to be a yearly measuring of the speed of light. But it changed all the time. So they quit doing it and came up with one formula that they all teach to us. So there's no ongoing measurement of the speed of light. Why? Because it wouldn't make science valid, the old traditional science. The same goes with the big G. You're probably wondering what that is. Gravity. So the big G, gravity, was also something that was measured yearly until they found out that it never stayed the same, that there was differences in the measurements. So they did away with the measuring of gravity and decided on the measurement of gravity. Isn't that interesting? So you can see why they banned him from showing his TED Talk, because a lot of the science community has been invited to be a part of that organization to give lectures. So you can still find it on YouTube, you rebels, if you're interested. So new science. Many believe that we're on the brink of a massive, massive paradigm change. Does that sound familiar to you? Those of you that maybe aren't in the scientific world, but we're in the spiritual world, we've heard this, the times are changing. In the Hindu ancient teachings, we're told that this is the end of the Kali Yuga, and it's the beginning of the Satya Yuga. And Satya loosely translates as higher truth. So this is the golden age of a greater becoming, a greater awareness. This is a new paradigm. This is an awakening. So with that new paradigm change, we're going to have to alter the way we view the world. The old science, the old views, while some of it's very, very, very helpful in navigating the material world, somehow doesn't line up with the new paradigm. They're going to have to allow gravity to fluctuate, and the speed of light, my goodness, the speed of light to fluctuate. We're riding the constantly moving wave of evolution. Don't you love that idea? So 13.8 billion years ago, the sciences, and I'm merging now the stories of science and spirituality, the sciences tell us the Big Bang happened. And ever since then, we, meaning the energy that was released during that Big Bang, we're a part of that energy, we've been evolving and moving forward. So every one of you right now, every one of you in your seats, just feel into this a moment. Maybe you just close your eyes for a moment so you can get a real good sense of your body. I want you to feel that. And you can open your eyes or you can close them. But here I am, a 53-year-old female. And I look like I'm really static. And you, right there in your seat, you feel like you're really static and here and present in your body. But if you were to look at us under a microscope, you'd see 5 trillion cells doing a magic dance. So are you really still? Interesting. So there's subtle layers to who you are. You feel still as you're holding still or you're standing still, but there's 5 trillion cells moving within you. And if you look at any one of those cells more closely, you'll see 20 trillion atoms. I mean, can you even wrap your mind around those numbers? So here I am, 1,000 trillion atoms. But if you look at me, or if you look at yourself even more clearly, and just allow it to fade away, what we really are is energy. What we really are is energy. So what we really are is energy and light that came into form 13.8 billion years ago. So we're ancient. We're actually ancient stardust. Here, in this body, in these bodies. We are a part of all there is. We are a part of the cosmos. Why is that relevant to us today? Why is that important to know? Because knowing that we're attached, we're part of, infused with, one with all that there is, and there's only energy and information. Knowing that, we can communicate into this field of energy. We think we're this one body, this one being, but we're actually connected to everything. Just like an ocean. We don't take the wave of the ocean and say, here's the wave, because we can't. The wave is just a part of the ocean. And in that way, we are just part of the one energy, and we're moving at the speed of light. But we don't know that. And we struggle, and we suffer, and we have a hard time with things, and we're having this human experience, and we can't just be energy moving at light speed all the time, because here we are. Maybe we don't have enough money in our bank account, or we've got a physical illness, or we've experienced a loss. And so it's nice to have these like outrageously magnificent, huge thoughts, but we have to still walk through our lives and manage our energy, manage this vast amount of energy that we have. So we, being in this human form, but yet a part of this one amazing energy, can utilize the energy of the mind. Now, scientists, new science, is saying that the mind isn't actually located in the brain. That we utilize the brain to access the mind.
Okay.
Make more sense? And that just like when you see a magnet, you know that the magnet, it may have a physical form to it, but you also believe, because you probably all played with magnets, you also probably believe and know that the energy of the magnet isn't restricted to the magnet itself, correct? No? Okay, so that is like us. We have a mind. We have access to this brain that processes thought, but our thought atmosphere is actually much greater than we are, just like the magnet. So we can actually utilize this knowledge. Like we're using it all the time by thinking thoughts and affecting our environment with the thoughts we think. Some people know this, like you guys, and some people don't know this. So you see people having all kinds of random thoughts, people getting angry, people having outbursts, people doing those kinds of things because they don't realize what that's doing. You do. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we fall asleep and we have a temper tantrum, or we forget that we are these amazing energetic beings that can affect our environment through the very thoughts that we think. Checking the time out, I'm really having to move along right here. I have so many great things to share with you on this subject, so I think I am going to save a lot of what I wanted to talk about. Especially with Dr. Sheldrake and what's his name? Mitchell. There we go. That's it. Edgar. Thank you, Mitchell. And the Institute of Noetic Science that is actually doing studies in consciousness. I want to get into that another time. And I know some of you have studied with that Institute of Noetic Science. So what I want to just end with is each of us has this amazing capacity to utilize this faculty of our mind to affect so much. We can use the power of our mind to affect our health, to affect our relationships, to affect our creativity, our abundance. Our mind is an amazing tool. And what we do here at the Satya Center and in every center for spiritual living around the world, we teach a practice called spiritual mind treatment. We teach this scientific 5-step process of understanding the mind. And I'm not talking just about our little mind, I'm talking about how there's only one mind, and we utilize that mind. We bring ourselves into alignment, into congruence with the greater mind, and use the power of intention to heal. So, getting to the example that I very rudely cut Michael off from sharing, and it really was his story, because we had a demonstration in our family this week. I met a woman 20 plus years ago in a center just like this one, up in Big Bear Lake, California. I walked into that center, me and a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. We walked into that Science of Mind center and met this divine being. Her name was Carolyn. And we immediately connected, and I became friends with her. And that's Michael's mother. And so Carolyn, my mother-in-law, is a Science of Mind practitioner and has been trained in this scientific prayer process, this 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. And a couple of months ago, she was diagnosed with level 4 lung cancer. And so we had long conversations about death, and she doesn't believe in death. Neither do I. Death of the body, but not of who we really are. And so we had long conversations, just talking about what that means, what it might mean for her to die, and what would she like, how would she like me to support her through her healing process, because she also wasn't attached to leaving the planet. She was open to the experience. She was very engaged in the healing process, but not attached to the outcome. That's a key part in spiritual mind treatment, to be very engaged in the process, but not attached to the outcome. That opens you up for a greater sense of movement within consciousness. So we started talking about the possibilities of her having a complete healing. And so I outreached to her minister there, Reverend Dr. Linda Logan, and we started activating the prayer chain here within the Satya Center and within the community there and with our larger community. And then this week, a couple of days ago, I got the notice that Carolyn had gone. She was the tumor, the cancer had moved up into her brain. That lung cancer can do that. Same kind of tissue, lung tissue, brain tissue, gone into the brain. And so she was a candidate for proton therapy at the Loma Linda radiation unit. And it's a very specialized kind of wonderful radiation therapy. And she was a candidate for it. And so she went to see the oncologist, radiologist several times, and they wanted to do one last MRI to make sure that they had this, the right, it's very, very, very targeted, precise. So she went in, she had the MRI. The following day, the oncologist called her and said, "We need to cancel your appointment because your lesion is gone." So, I want to share with you the significance of you setting your intention on what it is you really want. So, do you want a healing? Do you want a new soulmate? Do you want that job? Because it's you getting really clear on what you want, and then sharing that with those that can know that truth for you. Not the B crowd that boo-hoos and doesn't believe that you can achieve that. The A crowd that are like all in and ready to back you up with whatever you want. You let those people know. And then you create a ripple in consciousness, because we're all connected. And what goes on in this trillions of cells affects every cell. So the work I do here, the work you do there, affects. We just have to know what we really want. So Carolyn's wish was to be a living demonstration of living these principles. And so she is. And so it is. So let us just turn within. And we're going to do a spiritual mind treatment right now together. We're going to activate this energy for each of us. This energy of joy and love and happiness. So just feel into that and bring to mind right now whatever it is that you want. And get super clear, whether it's something tiny or something big. Just be super clear on it, get really focused on it, and get a sense of feeling what it feels like to have it already happen. Are you all getting a feel for what it feels like to have that already be real? Because that's the energy of prayer. So I know right here and right now I speak my word, activating the divine creative process into action as I see only one life, one power, one presence, sourcing itself in and through all beings, all sentient beings, all of life, everything we see, taste, touch, know. It is made of this same energy, ancient sunlight, light, speed of light energy. It is infused with an intelligence that responds to my predominant thought, And as I extend my thought through my energy, as I give it my attention, as I draw it to me through my attention of it, I know and accept for each of us that we are uplifted into this new paradigm where life is good, where life is abundant. So let's feel that right now, that life is so good, that life is so abundant. And I sit here today at the banquet table of life, feasting on all that I love, the joy and the fabulous relationships that I have, and all the fun activities I do, the wonderful sunsets that I experience, and the moon rising and the moon setting, the streams and the flow of the grasses, and the wind gently moving through my hair. And as I engage in this one life and I feel it moving through me, I just simply say thank you for this amazing opportunity to be a part of the miracle that is so usual. We live in an amazing universe. We can see it as a miracle, or we can be a living miracle. And to be that living miracle means we show up every day as love's presence. So I accept this for each of us now, that we just simply remember who we really are, which is the presence of love in action. So just breathe in that, the presence of love in action, and exhale your expression of love. Thank you. And so it is.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Ali and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.